I'm Danny, or Daniel John, and I go to Ashcroft High School.
Okay, and what year are you in?
I'm in year 11, well, I just left year 11, so yeah, I'm kind of mid-year 11, mid-year 12.
Okay, brilliant. So, I understand you've been coached recently, so how did you feel when your coach approached you? Because your coach was the head teacher, yeah? So how did you feel?
Nervous. First, I actually thought I was in trouble first because she came up to me, and then she was like, "You're being coached. We've got you to do coaching." And I was thinking, did I do something wrong? I thought that I was kind of doing something that needed to be fixed, like something that was not right. But after she'd explained that it was just to make sure I knew what I was doing and when I was doing it, I kind of felt a bit more calm because I was thinking, okay, we'll just plan this out and then we know what we're doing.
Okay, good. So a little bit worried at first, but then calm, yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what was the coaching like compared with what you thought it would be like?
It was a lot more, not informal, but I thought it was going to be, Dragon's Den, kind of one person at one end of the table and the other end of the table, and but it wasn't. It was chilled. It was sat down, having a nice chilled conversation, like writing stuff down. It wasn't too harsh. It wasn't too forced. It was just questions answered, simple. It wasn't hard at all.
That sounds good. Okay, so what was your situation like before the coaching?
Stressed is one word. I was absolutely terrified to even walk in an exam hall. I had to do my exam in a different room, but I was so scared to go in the exam hall, so I had to move it. But I was overwhelmed. There was so much to do. There was so much work in each subject to do, and all the teachers were kind of expecting you to know everything on each subject, and there was too many subjects to know. So I feel like I was just overwhelmed. There was too much to do, and when you kind of look at a problem and you think, oh, that's too big, I'm not even going to bother with it. I was kind of like, I'm not going to lie, I was like that. So I thought, okay, well, this coaching is going to help me to kind of break that up and just look at the things I do need to do instead of just one big lump of work.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was how you felt before the coaching.
Yeah.
All right. So you then met up and had a few coaching sessions. How many sessions did you have?
6, I believe.
Okay.
6.
Okay.
So yeah, we did that, and then we had till Friday, and I'd have to check in with Miss to tell her that I'd done each of my steps for the coaching.
Wow.
And I think every single one of them I checked in and I'd done it, and that's why it was so easy, because it was such an easy step. It would be, go to the teacher and get a past paper for English. That's one of the steps, and then go tell her I did it. It's so simple and easy just to get each of the steps done, and that's just what made it so much easier. And
wow. And you obviously came up with the action steps yourself, didn't you, rather than being told what to do?
Yeah.
So what difference did that make for you?
I kind of felt like I was in control of it, because obviously teachers saying, you do this, you do that, you do this, but it was kind of the feeling of, I get to choose how I do this, and I get to be in control of my learning, which doesn't really happen very often considering we have teachers to teach us. But we kind of taught ourselves, but we were taught how to teach ourselves, and I love that.
What difference did that make?
A world of a difference, definitely. And I could not teach my friends, but kind of give them tips on how to kind of work through their stress and work through the steps that they need to do to do the things that they need to do.
Wow, so you helped your friends as well as gosh, get you. So before the coaching you felt stressed and overwhelmed, you said. Okay, so after the coaching, how did you feel then?
Like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. It sounds so cliche, I know, but it really does. It's crazy how weird it feels. The fact that before you have the stress, and it's like this, it feels like a literal weight on your shoulders, and then afterwards it's like, whoa, okay, well, I've just finished that whole chunk of stuff that I needed to do, and now I feel like a whole space in my brain has been cleared for new information, and it's actually so great. And it made me happier as a person, and it made me a kinder person, because I was kind of moody all the time when I was because I was just stressed. So afterwards it made me kinder, made me think about more things, made me think about empathy and stuff with other people and how they might be feeling, because obviously I know how it feels and stuff. So it was so weird. It's like an unexplainable feeling. It really is. But
wow. So what do you think would have happened if you hadn't had the coaching?
I probably would have had a mental breakdown. I'm being serious. It was like getting to that stage, like it was crazy. But I don't know. Yeah, definitely something crazy would have happened, and I wouldn't have been able to obtain the information that I did before my exams if I hadn't done the coaching.
Wow. So how did you feel when you went into your exams?
I felt like because we'd done the coaching and the steps just like the few weeks before, I felt like all the information was right at the front of my head. So if they asked me a question about it straight away, I could answer it. It was so easy. Like, not, I want to say easy, I don't want to touch wood like that, I'm not going to fail or anything, but like, it was easy just to remember the things that I knew, easier than it would be if I didn't have the coaching.
Wow. So if you hadn't had the coaching, how would you have felt going into the exam?
Probably like I'm winging it. Like, kind of on the fence about whether I would fail or whether I would pass. But right now I'm probably on the pass side for most of my subjects. Geography probably not so much, but the other ones definitely like have a chance, I believe.
Wow, that's brilliant. And before you did the coaching, had you had any other support or anything before?
Don't believe, not with work and stuff, just kind of after school interventions, but I'm kind of slow. I don't know if that's the right word, but I don't pick up information as quickly as other people, which means that when we're going through things in intervention and in the lessons, I'm kind of like lagging behind, and then I'm like, I missed the work that they just did, and then I'm like, oh, I just missed everything, now I'm just going to give up.
Wow.
Yeah, and I really didn't with this. I think the fact that the school is such a growth mindset school has helped as well, because it just makes me think, okay, just focus on just improving, because I'm going to improve. There's no ands, ifs or buts. I'm going to improve. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good positive attitude, isn't it?
Thank you.
Did you have some counselling as well before?
Yeah.
Because I know you said about feeling stressed
Yeah.
and stuff.
I did that for a while. But,
what was the difference? Because sometimes people get confused between counselling and coaching. So what was the difference that the coaching made compared with the counselling?
The coaching was more focused on what do I do and how do I do it, and how am I going to get there, and the counselling was more how do you feel about going through these stages. Yeah.
Interesting. So what other sorts of challenges do you think that the coaching could help you with?
Probably like emotional challenges. Like, I don't know, I don't have the best relationship with my mum, and I was talking to Miss about that as well, about how like I'll talk to her in one way and then she won't like the way I talk to her. So then I'll just think, okay, what can I do differently next time so that she won't get annoyed with me? And then I'll just think of it in that way and then kind of change it, and then how adamant am I not to make her annoyed this time? Like, don't go out of your way to make her annoyed this time. Not that I did before, but so it does help me in real life with relationships and communication skills, because obviously you can't have relationships without communication skills. So I feel like it really does help in the real world as well, like not just with schoolwork and stuff, just in life in general.
That's really interesting. So when you leave school, what are your next steps?
Musical theatre college.
Wow.
Not musical theatre college, but going to college to do musical theatre and dance and music.
Excellent. And how are you feeling about that at the moment?
Excited. I'm excited, however, the fact that I have to leave my Ashcroft family is not the best thing ever, because obviously I love it here. This is my home. I stay here till late every day, so I feel like I've got a connection with the school, but the fact that I'm doing work experience now is really helping, because I feel like it's just making me, it's like that final bit, the little add-on, until I'm like, okay, I'm ready to leave now. So, yeah.
Okay, so are you going to have some more coaching around that?
Yeah, Miss said that we're going to do coaching up until I leave, so I believe, what day is it today? Monday. Is it Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Tomorrow we have another session. So, yeah, that should be fun.
So, hopefully you'll be more prepared.
Yes, definitely.
To leave and start flying on your own.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, what would you say the 3 biggest differences are that coaching's made to you?
Emotional. Like, I'm definitely a lot happier in myself. Obviously, like the working, I have a clearer mind, so I know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. And relationships with friends and family and stuff. I feel like they've improved because I know how to work through them. I know how to do step by step now, how to improve. Before I would just look at it and think, oh, she's trying to get at me, but now I can just think, okay, let me look at it from her point of view, and now what can I change next time so that that doesn't happen. So it's not just work related, it's everything related.
That's fantastic. So how did the outcomes that you achieved differ from what you expected?
Well, because obviously at the end of the coaching sessions, I'd have to I'd have a target by the end of the week.
Yeah.
For example, I had to do an English paper. Now, I wasn't the best at English before. I mean, I did an English paper and I think I got 36 out of 80, which is really not good. Okay. So I thought, okay, let me go to Sir, look at the steps I need to do. Did that, and I went home and I did the test, and I came back and I got something like 60 something out of 80.
Wow.
So on this, there's the language paper. So I was thinking, oh, okay, well, just going through that step by step has improved my grade immensely. Like, it's crazy. So I don't know, it's so weird just to think that little thing has made such an impact. Like, how have this not happened before? I don't understand. Like, it's such a big thing, like, to have happened, that I think it would help a lot of people.
Brilliant. So how valuable would you say that investment of your time was?
Incredibly valuable. It's crazy. It's weird to think that that's happened in such a short time. It's weird.
So you sound like you're quite pleased with your progress.
Definitely. Time will tell on results day though, won't it? But
it will. Well, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for you. Definitely.
Thank you.
So if another student was thinking of being coached, what would you say to them?
Oh, 100% do it. 100% do it. You'll feel better in yourself. You'll feel other people will know. Like, people have not come up to me in the corridors, but like, people have said to me, you seem different, you seem happier, you seem nicer in yourself. And I say, oh, thank you. Because it really does make an impact on your your persona and your character. It just makes you a better person, I think. It does, definitely. So I really think that they should do it if they were to consider that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what kind of differences did they notice?
They said that I seem brighter. I said when I'm in the corridors, I tend to say hi to people in the corridors anyway, but I seem happier and my tone of voice is happier because obviously body language and posture, and I seem a lot they said I seemed tired before. Yeah. And I think that's because of the weights and stuff that was like dragging me down, but now I'm kind of free like a bird.
That's wonderful. That's so good. So what do you think would have happened then if you hadn't had that coaching experience?
I think I just would have cracked under pressure, and I really wouldn't have felt the way that I do about the exams now. So I would have been sad. Definitely. I would have felt like I tried my best and my best wasn't good enough. And yeah, that wouldn't have been good. But it was good because that didn't happen. So
absolutely. So imagine you are talking to head teachers from schools around the world, all right,
okay,
about coaching from the student perspective. What would you say to them?
You need to learn how to do that, because having that skill and being able to change, because Miss Austin's changed my life. Like, that sounds so cliche again, but honestly, she has. And I feel like if more people had the training and the expertise to do that to other people, then like it would just be so fantastic, because I'm just one person that she's helped. Like, there could be so many more people that could feel the way that I feel now, and that would just be like a magic power. Like, honestly, it would be like a superpower.
So you think the schools should do it?
Definitely, 100%, 110%, like they really should.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fantastic, thank you.